Hello lovely people, and welcome to video number 2 about being a non-biological mother in a lesbian parenting duo. If you want to watch part 1, which is where I just talk about some tips when it comes to bonding with your baby and dealing with those first few weeks and the kind of feelings and tumultuous things that you might be going through, then you can click either the card that's up here in the top left hand corner or the link that's down in the description. In this video though, I'm going to be answering some of the questions that you posed on the Instagram that I share with my lovely wife Claudia at Jessie and Claude. And you can go and follow us and see what we're getting up to with our lovely little boy Rupert, who is now 13 months old. Where did that time go? I do not know. Somehow it feels like he was born yesterday, but also that he has always been here. He's his own little person now. It's like he's a 5-year-old or something. Where did my baby go? Rupert was conceived through IVF, but we didn't do reciprocal IVF, which is where it would be my egg in Claudia's body. It was Claudia's egg in Claudia's body. You can actually watch a video which is all about our journey of conception, which I'm also going to link up above there and down below. But basically Rupert is very much my son, regardless of however he came to be in my life. Basically, we're going to be talking about that today. Number 1, how did you get over the internalized, this isn't actually my kid that I'm nervous to feel? This is a really interesting question, and one that I understand the feeling of, but not necessarily something that I felt myself, because I didn't carry Rupert and we also didn't use my egg for medical reasons. I'm not able to carry a baby, and that's something that I've always known about myself, so it hasn't ever been something that has been in my future. And that's really meant that I've always thought that my child would be adopted, my wife would carry the child, so it didn't bother me. It wasn't that kind of hurdle I had to overcome. The issue for me was more in recognizing that there was this very close mother-child bond between my wife and the baby, and being like, God, I really want that. I really wish I could have a bond that was as close as that, because in the first few weeks it's very hard. Like, little babies very much cling on to one person, and feeling like, damn, I really wish that was me. And it got so much easier as the weeks went on, because the baby expands out, their world gets bigger, and it becomes 2 people. I love 2 people. Oh, I'd never look at him and think, you're not mine, because I looked at him and I thought, firstly, like, you look like the woman I love, a tiny little piece, the person that I love the most in the whole wide world. That's beautiful. And then secondly, once I kind of got to know him better, it became, you are such an amazing, fabulous, fantastic person, and I love you so much. There was never, this is someone else's child. It was always, this is a special, wonderful child, and I'm so blessed to be able to have him in my life. Is there anything the bio-parent can do or say to be supportive of certain feelings? Yes, definitely. For me personally, if one of you has just given birth, for me it felt a lot like I had to just eat my feelings to start with, because I'm like, you know what, she just had a cesarean, which is major surgery, so we're just all going to be about her right now. Okay, it's just all about her. But then once she was feeling a little bit better, I was more open with sort of saying, like, I'm finding it a bit hard right now, and this is kind of how I'm feeling, and just expressing when I felt like I was having a bit of a wobble, because, you know, he would cry when I picked him up, but he gets calm and happy when you hold him. And she was very supportive and really wonderful, and didn't crush that down and say anything like, oh no, that's not what's happening, no, he really loves you, because he didn't. And that's fine. Like, he's a baby. It's perfectly natural and normal. She was much more like, well, he is going to, once his world gets bigger, once he is able to see beyond 30 centimeters, he's going to really, really love you so much. You know, he did. Once it became, he and I could do more things together, COVID doing all of his nappy changes, and that became a special one-on-one time. I think I did all of his nappy changes from the very beginning. That stopped being, oh, he cried when we did nappy changes for the first 2 weeks, and then it became like a still, calm, quiet, nice time when the 2 of us were bonding. And that was really lovely, and Claudia gave us that time to be to be together as a bonding time and was very supportive of that. For the bio parent, perhaps finding moments when you can allow other parent and the child to bond together and just being really supportive of feelings, not crushing them down. What is something you wish people would stop asking you? When people come up and ask us, whose baby is it? And we go, both of ours. And they go, no, whose baby is it? And we're like, our baby. It is our baby. Both of us. They're like, but who's the mum? And I'm like, could you not just accept? Take our first answer. That's what I wish. I wish people would just take our first answer and just nod. If it confuses you, that's fine. Just nod. Hi families. Just jumping in at the end here with another hot tip. So if you happen to have a little baby who managed to get tonsillitis in the middle of a heat wave in which the UK managed to go over 40 degrees Celsius for the very first time, the same day that your baby had a temperature over 40 degrees for the very first time, so his insides were boiling in the same way his outsides were boiling, I'm here to tell you that Surfshark VPN also works on your TV. Yeah. It's good stuff. Got a smart TV? Surfshark VPN works on it. Thank you, Surfshark gods. And you can play beautiful little documentaries with actual real life animals because that's all he cares about. So you can watch those documentaries from around the world. You too can get Surfshark. I have a running deal with them. I've put the link in the description down below in case anyone else is also suffering and in need. And you get 83% off and 3 months for free. You try and be screen free, but tonsillitis, guys. Do what makes you happy. Do kids still pick up your habits or mannerisms? Oh my goodness, yes. The amount of time Claudia spends pointing at Rupert and going, he gets that from you. He has this. Look, he smells just like you. And it always takes a minute and we're like, oh no, wait. So often, when he was little, he had a little, whenever he smiled, he got like this little line across his forehead, which I get often when I do like a really big grin. And she'd be like, oh my gosh, look, he has your forehead line. Oh. And for a solid week, we just straight-faced told everyone about this line on his forehead. We were like, look, he has the line, he has the line. And then she said it one day, after we told everyone for a week. We were like, yeah, here's the line. Oh, no, wait. So yeah, they definitely pick up on things, whether that be in your own mind or actually just small children do pick up on everything around you. How do your parents react to your child? Is he considered a true grandchild? I'm worried about this. Yes, my parents completely consider Rupert to be their grandchild. They dote on him very much. I think it obviously helps that my parents don't have any, I don't have any issues with anything to do with homophobia around my parents in the past. They've always accepted that I'm gay. They've not had any expectations for me that I would one day grow up and marry a man and have a family with him and that I would have biological children, or I don't know, if they have, they've not expressed that to me, or it was something that they thought when I was very, very little and rapidly had to drop that idea because I was quite a gay kid. Also, adoption is something that's been part of my wider family before, so it isn't new to have family members that aren't biologically related to everyone else. It doesn't particularly stand out as being anything particularly wild. But then is that helpful to other people? I know that that answer is probably quite different to how a lot of other people would experience things, but I feel like all I can give is my own experiences. Do you know their genetic history, so know of any health issues? Yes, the sperm bank that we used lists fully any kind of genetic traits. They test for over 300 the person might be a carrier of. So we have a very comprehensive profile of things, and we straight away when we were picking a donor, the first thing that we looked at was health. That was our number one. Before we even looked at any kind of phenotype, we were just, it does not matter, health. They have to be absolutely clear for everything, and that left us with like 5 people. And then we went down like, okay, now what do they actually look like? Right? But he was very healthy, so Rupert's very, very healthy. Go him. Has anyone ever told you that your child looks like you? How did/would you react? Yes, my goodness, often. This happens a lot when I push him around in a buggy, go into shops or something. People are like, oh, your baby looks just like you. And I'm like, oh, thanks. I I mean, what else are you gonna say? You're not just gonna be like, no, actually, he doesn't. Because why? There's no need to make them feel bad. They're just being sweet. Like, they would say it if he had, I don't know, purple hair and 4 noses. They're just making conversation and being nice. I don't know, even Claudia says it. He doesn't. He does not. He doesn't. Hello? Is that my baby? Is your connection to Rupert just as great as your partner's? I can't have biological kids and I'm scared of missing that connection with my future child. He and I have a bond that is incredibly strong. It comes from just the hours of reading books together and cuddles and love and putting that little beautiful baby in the bath and the way that they smile up at you and oh, just the love that blooms in your chest when you look at them, fills you to your fingertips with joy and light. And it absolutely has nothing to do with DNA. I know I say this a lot because I think it's really important, but I think as LGBTQ plus people, we often don't have wonderful relationships with our biological families, but that is unimportant in the grand scheme of how your relationships will develop on and how your beautiful families will be in the future. Your biology and what has come before doesn't have an impact on how amazing your future life will be. Just because someone gave birth to you, that doesn't mean that they have rights over you forever. Like, if they're a terrible person, they don't get to continue to be terrible to you just because they're your parents. Like, it's not okay. It's not how that works. Our beautiful, wonderful, special, lovely little child is going to look into your eyes and love you to the depths of their soul, whether they are sharing a bit of extra DNA with you. Okay, I kind of put these two together. Do you find that people respect Claudia as a parent more, and do you ever plan on explaining to Rupert your biological relationship with him? I found that definitely at the start, people did respect Claudia as a parent more, but that was because she was the person who had given birth and wasn't tied to the fact that she was the person who had given the egg that made him. So if it had been my egg in her body, I think she would still have been the one who had the higher priority. So it makes sense. It still does get slightly annoying when people are like, oh, so you're mum and you're... And I have to be like, also mum. Like, I'm not like other mum. I'm not secondary mum. We are the same. We're on the same level, thanks, doctor. But I think also comes from the fact that they expect women to show up to appointments without their partners and are therefore baffled, it would seem, when anyone else comes with and just don't know how to handle it. That's just been my experience so far. Except for the wonderful nurse at our GP surgery, who is just aware that Claudia and I come as a pair for everything, including our smear tests. Make sure you go get your smears done, guys. Very important. Date day. And then I tied that into, do you plan on explaining your biological relationship to Rupert? Because we're very open with everyone around us about Rupert's biology. Like, I don't want to just have random people on the street be intrusive about it and then feel like they are owed some kind of explanation as to which of his 2 mothers gave birth to him. But with our friends and our family, of course, we're always very talk about it, and he looks very much like Claudia's mother. So there's a little photo on our stairs of Rupert right next to a picture of Claudia's mother, and spitting image, like, it's really bizarre. They look really similar. And that's there, and we kind of point it out to him, and we're like, we say night night to Paw Paw every night, and he sees it and he can be like, oh yeah, we look the same. So he's always going to know which of us he has sort of come from. It's never going to be a big secret to him. I think that's a really important thing to do with children, whether they are adopted, whether they're born through IVF, surrogacy, sperm, donor egg, whatever, to just be open about their origins. Various forms of research say that it's the best thing to do for them psychologically, so that's what we've always planned on doing. Do you wish you could breastfeed? Yes. Actually, yeah, I really do. I especially wished that I could breastfeed because Claudia's like kind of not that into it, which I feel really sorry for her for, because Rupert has a cow's milk protein allergy and we haven't found any type of formula milks that work for him, so she's had to breastfeed longer than she would have wanted to. Always been quite like, oh, I'm so sorry, I wish I could help, but I can't. Some people can induce lactation. Is a thing that is possible. Ali and Sam, if you don't follow them on Instagram, they're expecting twins. I was going to say a baby. They're not expecting a baby. They're expecting two. And Sam, who is not pregnant, is aiming to be able to also breastfeed. But for me, it's not something I can do because I take medications that I'm not able to stop that mean I wouldn't be able to breastfeed a baby, which is very unfortunate because I would really like to be able to help out. And also then I wouldn't have to chase Claudia down to the end of a garden. Like, Claudia, it's time to breastfeed this baby. It's much better now he can eat solid food. How would you explain his culture / ethnicity with/without including donor heritage? So funnily enough, Claudia and I actually just filmed a video, which will be coming out like very soon, where we took a DNA test. For Rupert, we did choose a donor who shares a heritage that is kind of similar to mine. It's very difficult to do anything that's like exact, but is very similar to mine in that it's kind of Northern European, that kind of region. In terms of bringing Rupert up, the emphasis that we would put on in terms of culture and ethnicity would be on more the part of him that's Malaysian rather than anything else, because he already lives in England in a very white-centered culture, so it feels like it's more important to be highlighting the parts of his ethnicity that aren't celebrated day to day, that he would just see in the outside world. Obviously for Claudia, it's like a really big part of her life. Like, she's half Chinese Malaysian, and her mother isn't around as well to be able to bring that into Rupert's life and be able to share that with him. So it's therefore up to us. But we are going to be taking him back to Malaysia very soon, and most of Claudia's cousins of her generation do speak English, so that's also really helpful because then I can be like, which book should I read to him? Hopefully they will have kids and then he can like play with them. That would be really lovely. But hey, if anyone has a book recommendation for 1-year-olds that focuses on Malaysian heritage, please let me know. Does it feel bad when people mention being not blood related as a reason for anything? Yes. So I find it really, really irritating when there are storylines in a movie or something when like a man suddenly finds out that his child is actually biologically someone else's child and he like goes on a rampage about it. I'm like, okay, well, I mean, do you still love the child? Like, you'd still be a good dad, you know, like, you don't have to leave the child. I also find it very weird when people get obsessive about their bloodlines. People are kind of like, oh, but it's really important that I have a baby to carry on my blood. You're like, what is so incredibly special about your blood? Like, who cares? That's very weird to me. And the final question, do you ever feel jealous that Claudia got to carry him? Yes, I do. I've saved this one to last because it's really honest. Especially while she was pregnant, because I was always like, I want to know what's going on and I can't, except I have to ask you. And she's like, I know, it's really irritating. You have to ask me things all the time. And I'm like, I want to know what's going on all the time. You just know, because it's just there. I do still really have that wish that I could carry a baby. It's kind of funny because I don't have any burning desire to have a child share my DNA, but yet I very much love the idea of being pregnant. Oh, I wish I could like carry our next baby, but just isn't an option, so stay tuned for whenever Claudia decides she's ready for that next one. And I guess you'll just have to keep following us on Instagram. If you haven't seen already, I have a very special edition of my Pride merch pins coming out this year. They're a brand new colour and there are only a very limited edition of these being made, and then next year it's going to be a whole new different colour. So if you like this colour, you had best jump on them before they are all gone, because they are going really rapidly. There are only a few of them left. I'm going to put a direct link down in the description that you can just click straight through and grab one of them up. I'd also like to say a very special thank you to the members of the Kellgren-Fozard club for helping to make this video possible. If you'd like to join the club, you can just click the join button, which is next to the subscribe button down below. Members get access to a special monthly behind the scenes video, birthday shout outs, and a whole host of other goodies. Let me know your thoughts, and I'm really interested to see some of your own experiences down in the comments below. See you in my next video.